All right. Shalom, shalom to Nation of Israel. Now, before we start this lesson, I'm going to give all honor, all praises, all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak, Wadash. All right, double honors again to our elder apostles who well, citation and fellow Akim, on laid by the apostle doctrine, and to the men, women, and children that sincerely believe. To you, I say shalom. All right, give me a second. All right, I'm back. Um, so I'm gonna title this video, you know, learn. Mistakes are there for us to learn, not to repeat, you know. And that whole saying is basically revolves around like learning from your mistakes, not repeating the same mistake over and over again. And that's really what it's about. This lesson is gonna be focused on just us a reminder just to learn from your mistakes and not, learn from your admit your first. You gotta admit that you made a mistake. Then you learn from the second thing you want to do is learn from that mistake and then do your best not to repeat it again. You know, um, yeah, because mistakes are part of life. You're gonna make mistakes because one, you're not perfect, and two, you're in sinful flesh, so you're gonna get weak. You're gonna sin at times. You're gonna go off. That's why in Proverbs 24, I got my Bible out with me. 24:16, it says what? For a just man. Now that just man just simply means a righteous individual. It could be a man, woman, or child. You know, anybody who follows any person who follows the ways of Yahweh Shema Shah, regardless of their age or gender. Right? It says for a just man fall of 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. So I'm making this clear, like that just man is also talking about the Israelite man. You so called Black, Latino, Native Americans. All right, the Israelite man, and also you know the speckled bird that's scattered abroad. Gotta make that clear. All right. So amongst you, Israelite foreigners, Black, Latino, Native Americans, right? You know, regardless within that group that I just mentioned, you know, the the just man symbolizes their men, women, and children. You see what I'm saying? Who follows after righteousness. Okay? So I'm gonna read it again. Proverbs 24:16, it says, for a just, and you can follow along. Again, this is Proverbs 24:16. It says, let me pull it up for you. So this way we can follow along together. Right? Proverbs 24:16. It says, for a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. You see? So the point that the scripture is making is that you're gonna make mistakes, right? You believers, you little ones, right? As the scriptures call us, right? You're gonna make mistakes, and it's truth. It's a given, okay? But you're gonna get back up, and how you're gonna get back up is by what? Admitting that you made a mistake, learning from the mistake, and not repeating it, and ultimately through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, because the Lord is gonna give you the energy, the strength that you need to get back up. You see? But the wicked, on the other hand, the Lord, when they fall, they're gonna fall into their doom. You know, they're gonna find themselves in a worse situation than they were before. All right, but let's go into Proverbs on our mistakes, right? So you wanna, and I'm speaking from experience. We're gonna make mistakes because we're human, but you gotta learn to like come at peace with your mistakes and just learn from them and do your best not to repeat them. And it remind me of this quote here, right? Let me see, I can find this quote. Give me a second. No, yeah. It's in the gallery. checking for time. November. Yeah. Let me see if I can find this for you guys. Yes. Let me try October. So I can bear with me for a moment. Here it is. Here. Right. It's a quote that says, "If you could erase all the mistakes of your past, right, you would also erase all the wisdom of your present. Remember the lesson, not the disappointment." Now, even though this was a quote, right, said by somebody in the world, it still makes a spiritual point, which is what? Which is that you have to come at peace with the mistake that you make. You can't keep beating yourself over the head because you made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Keep repeating it over in your mind. You know, I know we regret it. I'm speaking from experience. When you make a mistake, you regret the mistake that you made. But this quote is saying, you have to take the wisdom out of it, the lessons out of it. Because if you didn't make that mistake, everything is set up through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah. Because if you didn't make that mistake, then you wouldn't be the man that, or woman that you are right now. And in turn, you wouldn't have got better. So it's through that mistake that actually matured you, right? It made you better. Okay, that's why you're regretting now. You know, after you made a mistake, you regret making a mistake because now you know better. So now you would have made a different choice had you had the opportunity. You see? So we have to make mistakes in life. It's just, you're not perfect, but mistakes, like I said earlier, opening up this lesson, mistakes is for us to learn. It's to learn from. It's not for us to keep repeating. All right. So this is Proverbs chapter 26 and 11. Proverbs 26 and 11. It says, "As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly." Right. So, in other words, don't be stupid. You know, um, don't learn from your mistakes. Don't keep repeating the same mistake over and over and over and over and over again. Putting yourself into a loop, into a cycle. You know, learn from the mistakes. Don't keep repeating the mistakes. Okay. And also too, this talks about a person that leaves the truth and go back into the world. You know, because the vomit is your old ways. You know, which is those ways of the world, right? So the dog symbolizes you. So you'll be a fool to know this truth, to know the names, to have this knowledge, but then go back in the world and go back to the old routine that you had in the world. You see what I'm saying? Knowing the judgment that's gonna befall the world, knowing that the world is passing away, knowing that this place is gonna be destroyed, and knowing that once you step out this truth, the Lord's not gonna show you no mercy. You gotta be a fool to want to go back in the world anyway, because it's full of wickedness. You understand? It's full of wickedness. But the point is made. You don't want to keep repeating the same mistakes over and over, right? Um, You don't want to keep repeating the same mistakes over and over, but you will make mistakes. You know, that's a fact. You will make mistakes. You just will. See if I can find another precept. This is Proverbs, again, still in the book of Proverbs 20 and 24. It says, man's goings are of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Awashah. Meaning what? Everything that there's no such thing as free will because the Lord controls everything you do. You're just not aware of it. The Lord controls everything you do, every decision you make, everything that you enjoy is because of the Lord. The Lord allows you to eat breakfast. The Lord allows you to walk. The Lord allows you to see. The Lord allows you to have health. The Lord allows you to breathe. The Lord wakes you up every morning. You see what I'm saying? The Lord allows you to go to work. The Lord allows you to come home from work. So everything that you're doing in your life is because the Lord is allowing it. You have no control and no say so in this situation. So there's no such thing as free will. The Lord is definitely in control of our lives. It says, how can a man then understand his way? Right, because the Lord could easily, in other words, everything that we do is ultimately what the Lord wants us to do, is what He allows us to do. We can't do anything outside of what Yahweh Shemashah wants us to do. Can't. Because they can easily put that spirit on us or put that spirit on us not to refrain from doing it. Excuse me. Put that spirit on us to refrain ourselves from doing a certain thing. They can make you fast. They can make you pray. They can make you commit. They can make you do anything. Do anything. Whatever the how about Shemal Shah wills. But that just lets you know there's no such thing as free will. That the Lord is in control of everything. You know? So I bring this out to say that if you do make mistakes, it's ultimately what the Lord wanted the mistakes that the Lord wanted you to make in the first place. Because out of those mistakes was wisdom, there were lessons that you needed to learn, right? That was gonna make you better. So there was good that was gonna come out of a bad situation. There was some good for you that was gonna come out of a bad situation, out of that mistake. So the Lord allowed you to make those mistakes, or set it up to where you made those mistakes, that you can become a better version of you. The version of you He wants you to be, right? In order to be the man or the woman that the Lord wants you to be, you had to make those mistakes. You had to make mistakes in your life. You had to make those type of mistakes. You know, not those type, but you just had to make mistakes. It's a part of life. But those mistakes, you know, made you who you are because you you admitted it. Hopefully, you learned from it and you didn't repeat it. And in turn, that made you better. So the Lord is in control of everything. He even allows us to make mistakes because He knows there's good that's going to come out of the mistakes that we make. There is definitely good and lessons that we need to learn from the mistakes that we make. Let me see. I want to end it off here. All right, John 8. This is John chapter 8, verse 1. This is about the adulterous woman, right? The title, The Adulterous Woman, verse 1. It says, Yahweh Shah went onto the Mount of Olives, and early in the morning he came again into the temple. And all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they said unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now they wasn't coming these people wasn't coming to Yahweh Shah because they wanted his advice, okay, or his opinion. They was coming to Yahweh Shah to test Yahweh Shah. Alright, because mind you, Yahweh Shah is is teaching at this time when he walked on the earth. He was definitely teaching when he walked the earth, you know. So so these people brought these fat scribes and Pharisees. They brought this woman, this adulterous woman, like I said, to test Yahweh Shah, to try to find fault in him, you know. So it wasn't because they wanted to learn. It was because they were trying to find fault, okay, with him. All right, verse 4, it says, they said unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now, mind you, these are Pharisees and scribes, so they knew that she was supposed to be deleted for the act of adultery. You know, in ancient Israel, you know, it's our custom to where if a woman, if anybody, man, man or woman, right, committed the act of adultery, they were supposed to be deleted. You see what I'm saying? So they knew what to do. It's just the fact that, like I said, they came to Yahweh Shai to find fault. They wasn't trying to learn. They knew what to do. They were just trying to find fault with our Lord. Verse 5, continuing on, it says, Now Moses and the Lord commands us that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou? See, they trying to find fault. Verse 6, it says, This they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But Yahushua stood down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, Salakia. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground, and they which heard it being convicted by their own conscience. You see, so now these Pharisees and scribes, they were they were they were contrite, they were hurt by our Lord Yahweh Shah words. Why? Because they felt justified, because according to the law, this woman was supposed to be deleted for the act of adultery, you know, and they felt justified in the matter, right? But what Lord Yah what Lord Yahweh Shah did was he made them accountable. You know, he reminded them, right, by what he said to the Pharisees and the scribes. You know, he reminded them that they committed sins. You know, that they committed sins too. That they went off too. You know. Now, mind you, the woman was caught in the act of adultery. You know, they probably committed sins to they where they wasn't caught in the act of adultery, or they wasn't caught in in different acts. You see what I'm saying? But they committed sins. Now I'm not trying to add to the scriptures, right? Definitely not trying to do that. But I'm just making the point that they committed sins too. So how can you know they committed sins too? So the Lord just reminded them that they're not perfect, because Salakia, yeah, the Lord was just reminding them that they're not perfect, because with the Pharisees and the scribes, they stressed the law, right, so much that they try to make themselves righteous through the law, you know, not understanding that that they themselves are not perfect. You see, that's why they was convicted in their own conscience because they realized from Yahweh Shah's statement that they're not perfect. You know that they're going off. Okay, verse 9 again it says, in which they heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the elders even unto the last. And Yahushua was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. Now, why did the Pharisees and scribes leave? Why didn't they stone her? Because they felt they felt convicted because they knew what they did wrong. You see what I'm saying? They knew the wrong that they've done, the sins that they committed. You know. So what the Lord Yahweh Shah do? Like he said, he was all he did was reminded Slaki. All he did was reminded the Pharisees and the scribes that they not perfect and that they go off, you know, and that they committed, that also too they're worthy of deletion. You see what I'm saying? That's why they felt so convicted, as the scriptures say in Romans the 6th chapter, the wages of sin is death. So they, for their sins, they deserve to be deleted too. You see? So that's why they left, and didn't stone the woman because they already knew in their heart that they deserve to be put to deletion for the things that they done. Like I said, mind you, they caught the woman in the act, but the Lord knows the hearts of men and he knows the secret things. You see what I'm saying? He knows secrets. Okay? So who knows, the scriptures don't say, but who knows what those men, right, the scribes and the Pharisees did behind the scenes. Lord Yahweh Shah knows, of course, and Yahweh. And then also they themselves that committed the sins. So that's why they left, because they knew in their hearts of hearts that they did things that was worthy of deletion too. But probably never got caught on it. Verse continuing on, it says, and they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the elders, even unto the last. And Yahushua was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. When Yahushua had lifted up himself, and said, and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thy accusers? Have no man condemned thee? She said, No man, Lord. And Yahushua said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. And that's a very powerful statement because this is coming from the Heavenly Father's Son, who has the power to condemn souls. You understand? From his Father Yahweh. So the Lord didn't condemn her, all right, but he also gave her instruction and a commandment, say, go and sin no more. So don't. So I bring this up to say that she made a mistake, a big mistake, right? This woman, she made a mistake that could have cost her life, right? But the Lord forgave her, right? And told her what? To go and sin no more, right? And that goes back to what we were reading in Proverbs 26:11, you know, about the dog returning back to his vomit. Don't repeat the same mistakes that you make. So the Lord blessed her by showing her mercy, commanding her not to sin no more, right? And also instructed her because in order for you to sin no more, you have to learn from the experience that you had with sin. You had to learn from the mistake that you made. You had to learn from the sin that you committed that it was wrong, right? And that, you know, you had to see where you went off so that you know not to do it again. You see? So she made a mistake, a big mistake that was gonna cost her life. But the Lord showed mercy on her to her. And now he basically, when he says go and sin no more, he's instructed her to learn from her mistake and not to repeat it. Okay? So that's what we supposed to do. We supposed to learn from our mistakes and not repeat them. And not repeat them, to the best way we can, to the best of our ability. You know? But yeah, that's the point. You want to learn from your mistakes and not repeat them. Also, Lord Yahweh Shah, when he said, go and sin no more, he was reminding the woman to remember this day, right? Remember how they dragged you out from the act, right? The shame that you put on yourself by sleeping with another man, uh, another woman's man. You know what I'm saying? Salakia, no, I went off. A woman commits adultery by sleeping with another man. You know, outs- outside of her, yeah, another man. You know, she's only supposed to sleep with her husband. So, you know, the Lord was reminding her, like, remember all the, the shame that you bear. That how the Pharisees and Sadducees, Salakia, how the Pharisees and scribes, yeah, Pharisees and scribes caught you sleeping with another man. How you was gonna be deleted, right? And all those emotions that you felt. Remember those. See, and also how the Lord delivered her. Lord Yahweh Shah telling her to remember that. Don't blow this second chance, right? Go and sin no more. So the Lord, the Lord forgives us every day, and He gives us second chances so that we can learn from our mistakes and get better. And that's what it's about. When you make a mistake, whether it's big or small, you're supposed to learn from it so that you can improve it and move on. You know what I'm saying? Mistakes is not for you to dwell and beat yourself over the head over. It's for you to just learn from them, right? Admit that you made a mistake, learn from it, and yeah, admit it, correct it, and just move on, right? I put it on a TikTok here.
I made a mistake.
It says when you make a mistake, there are only three things you should ever do about it: admit it, learn from it, and don't repeat it. And that's all you can do with every mistake you're gonna make in your life. Is first you have to admit that you made a mistake, right? Can't be too oblivious where you can't see the mistake that you make, or too proud to where you won't admit that you made a mistake, right? You gotta learn from it, you know, take the wisdom out of it, the lessons out of the mistake that you made, and then you gotta do your put your best effort to improve that, correct it, so that you don't repeat it again. All right. Yeah. So let's just hear this and then we'll close.
Small or big? A big one. How do you feel? All I can think about is what would have happened if I made the right choice. But it was never going. I made a mistake. Small or big? A big one. How do you feel? All I can think about is what would have happened if I made the right choice. But you know it was never going to happen any other way. Why not? The person you were in that moment didn't have the experiences, environment, energy, knowledge, or beliefs to want, care, act, or know any better than you did. Then why do I feel so much guilt, shame, and regret? That's because the person you are now would have made a different decision. But you would have never become the person you are now if you did. So what? I should thank my past self for making the mistake I needed to become the type of person that wouldn't make that mistake again? Exactly.
So, you heard it first. You know, you could pause and read this on my TikTok page, or you could go watch this for yourself. But yeah, that's about it. You know, like we ended off in this video, in this short little audio clip. You know, mistakes has wisdom in it. It has lessons in it. So don't be upset and beat yourself up because you made a mistake. You know, be grateful because now you're gonna learn. Now you're gonna gain lessons from it that is gonna make you better. That's gonna make you more mature, right, and wiser. You see, so mistakes are the way of opportunity of growth. All right. So that's all I wanted to say through spirit. And with that, we give all honor, all praise, all glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Bashem Kadash. So next time I say, Shalom.